What if I told you there's a hidden force that's governing your entire financial life? Something that decides every single dollar you earn, save, and spend, and you don't even know it's there. Let's pull back the curtain on what it is. Well, it's called a money blueprint, and it's basically a preset program that was installed in your mind a long, long time ago. And right now, it's running the show, determining with almost mechanical precision just how much wealth you'll end up with, or how little. I mean, really think about that for a second. Every financial struggle you've ever had, every success, every up and every down, what if it's all just being dictated by a setting you never even chose? This isn't just some interesting theory. Let me show you how this plays out in the real world. To really get a handle on this, we need to look at the story of a guy named T. Harv Eker. His life is just a perfect, almost painful, example of this whole idea in action. So get this. Aker was obsessed with becoming a success, but he failed at over a dozen businesses and ended up totally broke living in his parents' basement. Then, a wealthy friend gives him this key insight. Rich people just think differently. So Aker starts studying their mindset, opens a new business, and boom. In just 2.5 years, he makes $1.6 million. He'd finally made it. But then, in the exact same amount of time, he lost it all. Every single penny was gone. And this is where the light bulb went off for him. He realized his money blueprint was like a thermostat. Think about it. If you open a window and the room gets cold, what happens? The thermostat kicks in and brings the temperature right back to its setting. Well, his internal thermostat was set for struggle. So when he suddenly got rich, his system worked overtime to get rid of all that extra money and get him back to his programmed state. And this isn't just some one-off thing that happened to Enfiker. Just think about lottery winners. They win these massive fortunes only to end up broke again a few years later. Why? Their thermostat just brings the temperature right back down. On the flip side, you've got someone like Donald Trump. After he lost his billions back in the 90s, he got it all back and then some. His thermostat wasn't set for millions, it was set for billions. Anything less was just, well, it was outside his programming. So, okay, we've seen this financial thermostat in action, but how does it actually operate? What are the real mechanics behind this invisible force? Your money blueprint is essentially your preset plan when it comes to money. Just like a builder's blueprint determines what the final house will look like, your money blueprint determines your final financial reality. It's really the combination of all your thoughts, feelings, and actions in the whole arena of money. And this blueprint works through a really simple but powerful chain reaction. Your programming leads to your thoughts. Those thoughts create your feelings drive your actions, and your actions ultimately produce your results. Now, this is the most crucial part. If you want to change your financial reality, your results, you can't just change what you're doing. You have to go all the way back to the source, the programming itself. Okay, so if the programming is the source, where in the world did it come from? Well, it turns out it was installed in our minds when we were kids, and it happened in 3 main ways. First up, there's verbal programming. All those things you heard about money growing up, phrases like money is the root of all evil, or rich people are greedy, or the classic, we can't afford that. Sound familiar? Yeah, these statements got recorded in your subconscious, and now they're just running on a loop, directing your financial behavior without you even realizing it. For example, let me tell you about a guy named Steven who went to one of Ecker's seminars. As you can see here, he was making over $800,000 a year and had been for 9 years straight. But somehow he was completely broke. I mean, how is that even possible? Well, it turned out his mother constantly told him that rich people are greedy and that you should only have just enough to get by. Anything more than that, and you're a pig. So Stephen's subconscious mind, desperately wanting his mother's approval, was making sure he got rid of any extra money so he wouldn't be a pig. You see, when the subconscious has to choose between logic and a deep-seated emotion, emotion wins every single time. Okay, the second source is modeling. As kids, we learn by watching, right? We just soak up our parents' habits and attitudes and patterns around money. Were they big spenders or were they savers? Did they argue about money all the time? We end up unconsciously copying those exact behaviors when we're adults. And this was Aker's big issue. His dad was a builder who went through these massive boom and bust cycles. First, he'd be deep in debt, then suddenly he'd be rolling in cash, and then, boom, right back to debt. Aker realized he was unconsciously reliving that exact same up and down pattern in his own life for over a decade. He was just modeling what he saw. And the third one, well, this one is often the most powerful of all. It's specific incidents. A single emotionally charged experience from your childhood can forge a powerful belief about money that can last your entire lifetime. A nurse named Josie came to a seminar. She had a good income but could never seem to keep any of it. It turns out, when she was just 11 years old, she watched her parents have a horrible, bitter argument about money. In the middle of it, her father stood up, screaming, turned blue, and collapsed from a fatal heart attack, right there in her arms. And from that moment on, her mind created this powerful, unbreakable link. Money equals pain. For her, money was the cause of conflict, of screaming, of death. So as an adult, she subconsciously got rid of all her money to get rid of the pain. It wasn't about being bad with finances. For her, it was about survival. So after hearing all that, the big question is, can we actually change this stuff? Are we stuck with it? And the answer is a definite yes. You can consciously reset your financial thermostat. Eckert lays out 4 essential steps for this change. First is awareness, just knowing that this programming exists by looking at your results. The second is understanding, recognizing that these beliefs came from outside of you. Third is disassociation, separating yourself from that programming and realizing it isn't who you really are. And finally, the most crucial step, reconditioning, where you actively install new, empowering beliefs into your mind. Now, one of the key ways to recondition your mind is something called declarations. And Ecker admits when he first heard about them, he thought they were super hokey. But hey, he was broke, so he gave them a shot. And as he says now, he'd rather be really hokey and really rich than really cool and really broke. So unlike a passive affirmation, a declaration is an active statement of what you intend to do. It sends a powerful message to your subconscious and, hey, to the universe. A simple but really potent one is to just touch your head and say out loud, I have a millionaire mind. Doing this every day actually begins to literally rewire your brain for success. And that really brings us full circle, doesn't it? Temporary fixes just won't work. The only way to permanently change your financial life is to go right to the source. You have to reset the thermostat. Once you change the programming, everything else, your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and yeah, your results, it all changes with it. So, your financial thermostat is already set. There's no doubt about that. The only question left is, are you ready to choose a new temperature?